Hi everyone, it's Kimberly from Catkin Toys and I'm going to share with you this week's Montessori Shelfie. So let's first of all have a look at what is on the top of our Montessori shelf. First of all, we've got some plants. Now, spoiler alert, these ones are fake, but we do have a lot of real ones around our home. I find that plants are a really nice way of brightening up a space, and the real ones teach a lot about responsibility and about living things. So I think they're a really good addition. Next to that, we've got a bug house. We've been looking at mini beasts this week and Arlo was really engaged with looking at the bug house. So I've put that up there as a way of catching his eye and bringing him over to explore all the other things that are on the shelf. And that is the same principle behind the stacking waves. Having something on top of your Montessori shelf that will invite your child over is a really good thing to do, because all of the activities that you've spent time preparing that are underneath, they will enjoy them a lot more if they are sort of naturally led over here and they start off by looking at something that they really find engaging. Next to that, we've got our Yoto player. Now, I really love our Yoto player. I know that a lot of Montessori families like to be technology free, and that's fine. But for us, we find the Yoto player is a great middleman between the two, because it's not the same as sitting in front of a tablet looking at YouTube all day, but it is a way for Arlo to independently access technology. Next to it, there is a little bowl full of all the Yoto cards, and all you need to do is pick one out and pop it in the top, and it will play whatever he has selected. So it's a great way to build that independence. A lot of the cards are also Montessori aligned. There is, for example, classical music, or there is one, Arlo is really into diggers and cars. So there is one that plays real life sound from helicopters and trains and cars. So he finds that one really engaging. There are phonics cards, there are times table and maths cards. So there are lots of ones that could be built into Montessori life, and we definitely love our Yoto player. It's used a lot. So that's a great thing to check out if you're looking for a screen-free way to build technology into your Montessori life. Okay, so let's have a look at the things that are on our Montessori shelf. So I'll just quickly start off by saying this is the IKEA Kallax unit if you haven't seen it before. It's a great way to sort of separate those Montessori activities into sections. This is the 8-compartment one, but if you are tight on space, they do a 4, a 6, and I think they even do a 2-space or a 1-space one. So you could pick the one that is going to best suit the space that you have. So the first thing on our Montessori shelf is the 3-cylinder puzzle. We got this just before Arlo turned 1. He is now 26 months and he still engages with it. He loves to put the cylinders into the puzzle every day, but he also uses it as stacking, as balancing. He gets a lot of value from that one toy. The reason I'm mentioning that is because we might have this sort of mindset that as soon as a toy falls out of the age category it was designed for, that we should move it on and get rid of it. But it's important to note that if your child is still getting value from a toy, then you should leave it there as part of his toy rotation, because if they are still engaging with it, then they are still getting some benefit from it. So it's important to leave it while they are still engaging. So we leave that there, we reset it every night, ready for when he comes down from bed in the morning, and he's straight in to have a look at it. So while he is still engaging with it, it will stay there. The next activity is a tracing board. So this one is great because they can use the little wooden stick to act as a pen and trace the different patterns in the tracing board, and it's a great way to start introducing those pre-writing skills. So the next thing we've got is our wooden blocks. Now, I really love these wooden blocks because they're so much bigger than regular blocks that you might find. It means that we can do so much more with them. So when Arlo stacks them, they are really, really tall. So he gets enjoyment from, building them all up, and it's nearly as tall as he is. We can use them for different constructions because they are so much bigger and chunkier and easy to handle. And of course, building a tower in itself is a really good skill because they are using that fine motor control, that hand-eye coordination. So it's really valuable to have those blocks around. The next one, as I've mentioned before, Arlo is really obsessed with cars and diggers. And if anybody else has got a child who's obsessed by one thing, sometimes it can be really hard to find Montessori aligned equipment to go along with an interest that they have. So this is an Indigo Jam Campervan, and it is one of Arlo's absolute favourites. I love it because the little people that slot in are all colour coordinated. So for example, the blue man sits in the blue chair. So that's really good because he is learning about that colour association, and of course balancing them on their seats. And it's a really good way to link his interests into something so that he is still learning. So that's a really good one. We like that one. And of course it's made from solid wood, so it's really durable and it's going to last for a very long time. So I really recommend that one. So let's have a look at the bottom shelf. The first thing we've got there is a nature book. This has pictures and photos and illustrations of all things to do with nature. Now, the reason I choose to put a book on our Montessori shelf is if it is a book that I specifically want to highlight for Arlo to have a look at. So Arlo does have access to his own bookshelf where he can choose whichever books that he likes. However, if I want him to focus on a particular book, so as I've said this week, we've been looking at mini beasts. So I've tried to link that sort of nature theme through everything that we've been doing. And that book is absolutely beautiful. So it's a great way of getting him to focus on the specific book that matches what we've been doing. If I just put it on his bookshelf with all the rest of his books, he might not pick it out. But because it's there and it's stood upright and it's looking at him, he's much more likely to have a look through it. So that's a great way to focus their attention if you want them to look at a specific thing. The next shelf has a basket of wooden animal figures, and in this basket the idea is to select the animal and put them on their outline. So you can see that the piece of paper has outlines of different animals, and the idea is to sort through and pick out the correct animal and then put it on the paper. That's a really great activity because they are using all those skills looking at size and shape and direction. So it's a really good activity with lots of different skills built in there. The next activity is a loose parts play one. I've included a 3-compartment tray there with the idea being that Arlo will sort the parts into different groups. Now, a child will sort things in a way that you could never have even thought of. So, for example, Arlo might stack them by colour and size, the sort of obvious ones, but there are so many other things that they will come up with. So it's a really great way to just sort of be the observer, sit back, have a look at how they are categorising them and what pieces perhaps are interesting them the most. It's a really nice sort of activity for them to just get on with and sit there and really do their own thing with no sort of right or wrong answer. So the last activity is this peg puzzle. This is a bit more of an advanced peg puzzle because the pieces come in different shapes. So there's a triangular one, a square one, a rectangular one, and so on. So he's got to put the pieces on there. It can grow a lot with the child. So Arlo isn't at a point yet where he is stacking them according to the number that is written on them, but each piece goes in a certain order so that they work in size. So it is a puzzle that will definitely grow with him as he gets older and has a lot of potential for him to grow with it. So that's a great activity there as well. So I hope you found it useful to have a look at what is on our Montessori shelf. If you have any questions, drop me a comment below. I will leave links in the description to all these beautiful resources so that you can have a look at them if there was anything that catches your eye. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course you can visit us at catkintoys.co.uk or over on Instagram at catkintoys. Thanks, bye.